Hello, everyone. Today we're gonna be having a special episode as soon as my co-commentators are here. You know, being fashionably late. If I say we start at 8, that means we start at a couple of minutes after 8. God damn it. Why can't I be working with Germans? Okay. bu- bu- there we go. Audio input. We should be fine.
You called?
Oh, guys. Alright, I mean, you guys are very much on time.
Only 2 minutes late for the two of us. I think that's progress, right?
That's
Maybe?
one minute per person, right?
Yeah.
Let me see. Let me plug my headphones in. Where's the cord? Where's the cord? Hold on. Ugh. Oh, here it is.
Can one of you maybe make like in announcements channel, just like at everyone that we are doing this with other people, so if they want to join, they can.
Of course. One moment. Just let me plug ourselves in here and.
I'm assuming you expect us to turn the webcams on, right?
And you don't have to if you don't want to. I assume that Brady doesn't have access to one right now, right?
I
Don't
don't
have
know. He's
access
using.
to an angle that would be terribly charitable.
Yeah, if you want to, Potato, you can turn on your camera.
Yeah, just give me a moment to see how.
Yeah, I'll see what I can do.
Okay.
Doop.
Okay, this is gonna work, I think.
I
A
agree.
little bit to this side, and.
There we are. Yes, yes, yes. I do want to mention at everyone. There we go.
Just make sure you don't tag yourself by accident, which I'm doing every time.
No, no, no. No, I got it. I got it.
Yeah, it's really weird. Every time I type at everyone, you're the first selection for some reason.
Well, of course.
Ugh.
As we've mentioned, I am literally everyone.
You are literally everyone. Okie dokie, you have that there.
Turn on camera. There we go.
Do you want me to stream OBS to
Well, let's see what we're dealing with.
Okay, let me... Oh, wow, not bad actually.
Wait,
Yeah.
this is better than your usual camera.
Yeah! Like, what the hell?
Well, see, I'm on the floor, but I have a small tower of very broad, stable pillows underneath the computer this time.
Okay, wait, I think I'm gonna do this a bit differently. I am going to also show my screen camera here, so that then I can capture the entire screen of the three of our cameras.
Gotcha.
Uh,
Makes sense. Oh,
okay.
let me pull up something I definitely want to discuss today. That being the surprising, broadly disappointing results of the Game Awards.
That sounds so sad. Okay, and then
Oh,
I'm
it's weird. It's a weird slate of victors, truly.
then I need
So not
what?
Psychonauts, I guess.
Window capture.
Psychonauts did not win a single thing it was nominated for.
Nope. Nada.
And Deathloop didn't win much.
Much less than I expected, yeah.
Rigged, stolen election.
Oh no. What did sweep just about every category it was nominated for, which we'll discuss once we're like properly up and running, is jarring to me.
I think this should be fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Woo! Look at us, we're very pretty. And also, like, why don't you get a camera like that for usually when you're streaming? Like, you look amazing. I don't know if that's the light,
Thank
the
you.
camera,
This
maybe.
is my usual camera. It's the angle. It's the angle. You're not like
No, but the
staring down
picture
at-
quality, Brady.
Yeah.
The picture quality is
Oh.
better.
Oh, it's the lighting.
Could be the lighting. Yeah, because the picture quality is so much better. Like if you have, I don't know, €100 more expensive camera, like it's a really significant difference. Also, nice paintings.
Oh, thank you. Those over there
Mm-hmm.
are actually my own from my middle school art classes.
Really?
They're very
shit.
bad.
Holy crap,
Holy
that looks
shit.
good.
Trust me, they don't up close.
Well, doesn't matter. Are they
Does
like
not
acrylic?
matter.
That one's like no, those are all, actually yes they were.
Ah, nice. And the thing behind you, like the poster?
I have no idea what that is. That predates my birth.
Oh, okay. And the thing on the top left, I assume that is something crocheted, right?
Yes it is. I think a family friend may have made that some years
Yeah.
ago.
Like our grandmas, you know, on the Balkans used to put that on top of our TVs. You guys put it on the wall.
TVs were fat.
Yeah, when they were fat, yeah. And they would always be covering like 1/3 of the TV. Oh, that would be so annoying.
Because let me guess, there would be like some kind of ornament or like a stack of VHS tapes or something on top of the decoration, right? Like on top of the doily.
No,
it-
no.
just
Usually it was
drooping
just
down?
that.
Huh?
Either
So, like,
just
nobody
that.
ever moved it.
Either it was just that, or on top of that, there would be that tin box that you would always think has cookies inside, but they always had sewing supplies inside, and you would always be disappointed over and over again. It's like,
Yeah.
why am I being disappointed? I know exactly what I'm gonna find.
Well, beyond a certain
Yeah.
point, you should just stop. You should stop expecting cookies.
Yeah,
Like you know that box is lying to you.
Yeah, and then
exactly.
one time you're looking for the sewing supplies, you open a box that has the cookies on it, and there's actually cookies in it, and you're
yeah,
like,
and you're like, oh, God damn it.
Like
the
now
box
I
is
have
giving you what you don't need.
Mm.
A true D&D item.
Critical failure every time you roll.
Balkan household. Balkan households of your childhoods then were just like roguelike runs.
Basically.
Okay, everything
Yeah.
but what I need is in here.
That is the most correct way to describe a Balkan household. Yeah, especially in the 90s.
God, you should have seen the stuff I pulled out of my shed the other month when we were cleaning it.
Yeah.
Like, beer bottles from 1997.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, like
Surprisingly-
that's just trash, you know. They're just not a Balkan household. They're just, you know, taking off
Surprisingly,
trash.
no. One moment.
Probably somebody heard that he was
Just not-
complaining about the shed.
No,
It's
no,
like,
no.
Mate, you still
No.
didn't clean out the shed.
No. Also, I found a military knife that the one you put on the
A
on the
bayonet.
rifle. Yeah,
Yeah.
a bayonet. Yeah, that's the one. I found like several saws, 3 axes.
Any
One of
hand
those.
grenades?
Surprisingly, no hand grenades. We did used to have a bazooka in the attic. No ammunition. Uh, I mean, my granddad was in the military. It's fine.
Right.
Don't worry about it.
Don't ask questions, it's fine.
We don't get school shootings here. It's fine.
Just random hand grenades in a bar.
There was also like a kit for dealing with chemical irritants, like a military one,
Mm-hmm.
which is I'm assuming like from the 70s or the 80s.
Yeah.
Still
Wait.
like practically brand new.
I'm slightly
You wouldn't wanna
confused
use it.
why you had so many like military stuff, weapons, tools, and then empty beer bottles. Like, what is the story in there?
Because my grandma was a hoarder.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
That's some of the more interesting stuff that was in there. There was also a lot of actual like garbage.
Yeah.
It could have been military grade beer.
Nah.
So I hate to say, like, we've never had anything quite so exotic here. As my family's always been very fastidious about keeping house. Like, anything we don't need, it gets boxed up and stowed in the attic or elsewhere. And that extends to like our pantry for dry foods. But I remember, every couple of years I would help Mom clean out any foods that maybe had stayed past their expiration
Yeah.
date or we just weren't going to use or what have you. And everything in that pantry, I was so surprised to see like 3 massive shelves full, like an entire closet's worth of food, perfectly in date, perfectly arranged and stored, with the exception of one thing that I guess had just missed a few cleanings. This box of like powdered pancake mix, totally unremarkable, right? Like not from a special brand, not with any like historical value. Pancake mix. Remember, we found this maybe 2011, 2012, that expired during the Reagan administration.
I assume that pancake mix already had a family of its own.
No, well, no, it's just like dry powder. So, the truth be told, you wouldn't want to, but you probably could use it to make perfectly solid pancakes.
We need an experiment.
No. It has been moved to its final resting place about a
Aw.
decade back.
Too bad.
Oh, shame.
Shame. Ding 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 ding.
Tap 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 tap.
Tap.
God
Alright.
damn it, guys.
I'm sorry, tap tap is now the thing. So, I don't think we should put like a time limit on this episode because I don't know if you guys
Agreed.
have like any other things that you have to attend to, but we can just keep going.
No, I'm good for another couple of hours.
Okay.
I have to get up very early to go to my graduation tomorrow, but seeing as how it will not be late for me until it's tomorrow for you, I think we're fine.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good. I mean, we're gonna upload this directly to YouTube. I don't know if you saw what I wrote, but I
Yeah.
think that Spotify doesn't make much sense anymore, so...
I
like-
know of one person who actually listens to the podcast through Spotify, and I will let them know we're going to be on YouTube. I think that will be a complete audience transfer then.
100% audience came from Spotify to YouTube.
Man,
Well done.
you know what though? Hold on. We might need to tell all those poor people holding out the hordes of loyal listeners who only access the Overanalysts podcast through Google Podcasts.
Ah, damn it, all those people on Google Podcasts. Hey Val, how are you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, Val.
Glad to see you.
Yeah, we haven't officially started yet, we're just chit-chatting, but soon we're gonna like start the proper episode.
You've got to keep in the bits though about my ancient pancake mix at Mate's shed full
Oh,
of
I'm just gonna
military
export it directly, you know? If
Great.
you
Yeah,
guys were
this
like
is going
farting
on
for the last
unedited.
10 minutes on the microphone, that would have gone into the video too, so...
Great.
Oh, nice. Wait, let me prepare.
Load the gun.
No. Gotta eat the cheese.
The cheese.
Sadly, speaking of which, I ordered. It was very, very good. A like Philly cheesesteak, so like a chopped steak sandwich from a fantastic restaurant last night. It was great, except I could hear his voice ringing in my ears as I noticed this. It didn't have enough cheese.
Oh God.
Did you call corporate?
No, because the thing is, it was a fantastic sandwich aside. Like, perfectly seasoned, really, really tender beefsteak, topped
Not
with,
enough
like,
cheese
bell
though.
peppers and onions. That's true, but there's ways you can make up for that, and they did.
So a friend of mine texted me like 20 minutes ago and he wrote, I had your stream open in some tab and you scared the shit out of me when you started talking. And I'm like, what? I'm not live. Jesus Christ, you scared the crap out of me. I've been farting for the last 15 minutes. And he's like, oh, it's just a video on your channel that started on its own. What the fuck? I had a panic attack because of you. And I wrote him, I just had a panic attack because of you.
I want to know the correlation between panic and farting.
No, but it's just like, you're alone in your room. You
Hey,
don't think
Shelby.
anyone it can hear you, and then somebody texts you like that you've been live for the last 15 minutes. And you're like, shit.
Hey, Schnaufi. Well,
You
Seth,
don't
you're
know.
never alone. You have Poppy and Beppo, and that's kind of
Yeah, sometimes we have a symphony,
I think you mean a Stephanie.
A symphony, yes. Symphony of the fart. Hey, Schnaufi, how are you doing?
We're doing great. We're off to a fantastic start. We've not even gotten down to brass tacks yet.
Definitely not, but yeah.
Before we get started, I will say I've been trying out Godfall today as part of like my general survey of the PS5 library, and it got what, like a lot of 7s and 8s somewhere
Yeah,
around
something
there.
like that.
Yeah, it's pretty damn good. Beautiful looking game.
It's the one that's free on Epic Games Store right now, right?
At least one edition of it is.
Yeah, like enhanced edition or something.
It's got a bestiary, always a big plus.
Val says, just finished my first service class yesterday, so I'm cruising. What is service class?
And Staffy says 20 minutes into the stream and we have fart jokes. Not bad. Well, we've not even started like the proper podcast.
Technically, we haven't started yet, so we are prematurely doing fart jokes.
It's like pre-gaming.
Yeah.
Jeez. Am I gonna have to be the serious one here?
Yes.
No, I'm not.
I just like it how again in the background you have that D&D bag. Like it feels like one day you just move it a little bit outside of the range so we don't see it, then it's back.
Bruh, I had not moved that bag in several weeks.
Oh, so you just hide it
most
sometimes.
definitely in the same. No.
With the chair.
Well, I sit here, and
No,
I sit how I'm comfortable. So.
Professor Potato, do your job. Yeah.
Oh, Val, like you were coding. Okay, sorry. I thought that you were doing like some sort of service, and I was like, what did you do? For some reason, I thought
you were in
like
class
public.
or something.
Yeah. Taking like a course.
Yeah.
Very popular thing
Nice.
to do online these days.
Sorry, what?
Very popular thing to do online these days. You hear about all kinds of people who aren't even like formally enrolled in university taking this or that class to build their skill set.
Speaking of which, my friend today just got accepted to Harvard like that. So a coworker, because our company is giving us a certain amount of money per year to like educate ourselves in any way that we want, as long as it helps our career. And he decided to enroll himself in Harvard, so he's just taking a couple of classes for business management or something like that. So
online.
Now, yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I was thinking of
Great.
doing the same maybe next year, either Harvard or some classes at MIT. Since my
MIT
company's gonna
would probably
pay.
be a better fit for you, like your field.
Yeah. I am really, really happy.
And you can do it easily. Val says, yeah, my customer service course. Gotta make sure I'm presentable. Kappa.
Nice, Val. Alrighty, I guess we can start?
I told y'all, there's 2 of those emotes that are not going to be seen on my channel whenever I get back. By the way, just to all the wonderful folks out there in the audience and letting you guys know, it sounds like I'm going to be out of commission longer than we thought, because the part for my car isn't coming in for ages, and I've got to stay in town at least until Tuesday for an ultrasound. So
Ultrasound, are you okay?
I hope so. I mean, I have this completely non-agitating, non-painful, non-swollen little like bump on my neck, and I didn't even see my doctor today. I went in for my physical, and the nurse practitioner,
Uh-huh.
who saw me instead, just had her take a look at it to make sure it wasn't anything serious, and
Right.
she said, "Yeah, no, it's almost certainly a cyst or something like that, but
Mm.
we want to be safe,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
we're just
yeah.
gonna schedule you one of those." That's not to say it's not really frightening. That's not to say I'm not immediately catastrophizing
Yeah,
mentally, but
yeah, like
you
it's like 15 types of cancer in one, and you have only 10
Just
yes,
days to
never
live.
Google your
Yeah,
symptoms.
never do that.
no, don't go to WebMD. Don't go to
Yeah.
WebMD.
Mm-mm.
You got a headache, man. You're already dead. You've been dead for 2 weeks.
Yeah, but let us know how it goes.
No,
I mean, I assume also it's like either a cyst or maybe some like fat tissue or something. They usually happen like in that area.
because I've had that spot there for like a couple years, and
Yeah,
it just didn't occur to me to mention it to my doctor because
yeah.
you
My
know
dad did
no
the
symptoms.
same, and it ended up being like a big cyst that they ended up popping for like good 20 minutes. So
Oh,
Okay,
yeah, yeah, like
good.
Dr. Popper or whatever it is,
If
that thing.
it's if I'm totally asymptomatic, otherwise I can't imagine it would be anything
Nah,
serious. So
it's
I do
probably gonna be
appreciate the
something like that.
concern. I'm going to be over here laughing and joking with you during your streams while I like rock back and forth in the fetal position until Tuesday afternoon.
Yeah,
But
but
I'll be
it's
back.
fine.
I'll
Yeah,
be back and I'll be streaming before too long.
yeah. I
Velvet,
mean,
what do I need done for my car? A very, very rare part needs to be replaced, or a pair of parts. Two instances of the same part needed to be replaced. One of them was in stock. Another is not currently available anywhere in the United States. So the very first part that enters the country is coming here. COVID-19 supply lines.
yeah,
Yeah.
wait, how old
interesting.
is your car?
Not super old. Maybe 4.5 years, 5 years.
Oh, well,
That's
yeah,
nothing for a
then
car.
the parts should not be rare
Yeah.
It's
for a car that's not that old.
Remember I told you guys it involves the like interior rainwater kind of funneling system,
Mm-hmm.
like
Yeah.
that threads those pipes for drainage through the interior of the car. Because that design is so cumbersome and has caused so many problems, it's not very prominent within very many models of sedan, even within
Right.
that range. So that's why it's rare. It's like a component that was not introduced to many models at all. Great, right? Oh,
Nice.
well, I appreciate that.
Unique.
All we've got to do is wait for the part, though. I really do appreciate it, and if we were in a place where the situation was more ambiguous or we needed more hands-on, I'd be more than happy to take you up on the offer. But we've already got everything paid for. We've got it in the shop. Everything's fine except the installation of that second teeny tiny little part. It's just a waiting game now.
That little teeny tiny part.
Again, it's always the one thing you need you don't have.
Yep.
Okay. Are we ready?
Ready whenever you are.
Yep. I guess.
Well, since we're just going to be uploading video, it is something of a formality, but still, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of the Overanalysts podcast. Now, hopefully, recording more than once every few months now that my thesis is complete. My name is Brady, or the Overanalyst, here on Twitch and on associated platforms, and I'm joined as always by my good friends Martina, aka Seth the Overwitch,
Hi.
and Mate, or Comrade Potato,
Hey yo.
who is just fresh off of slaughtering the original Demon Souls in like what, a day and a half?
Yeah, about that. Yes.
Jesus,
God
goodness
damn it.
sakes.
It was fun.
All right, Val, will do. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate having you look out for me. We're gonna keep a very close eye on it. Um, So, to anyone catching this after the fact, we are presently recording this installment live on Twitch, so we're going to be dealing with and addressing questions and comments from chat throughout. If this is something you like, if you like a live format for this program and would like to participate yourself, go ahead and let us know in the comments or by like reaching out to our email. If it's something that there's a pretty significant demand for, I'm sure we could do this more often, especially now that
Definitely.
we have that we have more time. Yay!
Yay!
So, it is the end of 2021 or 2022,
2020
and
part 2.
yeah, right. If last year was marked by this really jarring um arrest of the rhythm and flow of not just everyday life but international commerce and development, this year stands out to me conceptually as a year when everything remained perfectly static. Like, we, individuals and communities and governments, all kind of knew that, like, in order for everything from manufacturing to socializing to governmental function to resume, we would need for the pandemic to be at least under a modicum of control. And we knew it was going to happen. We just didn't know when, right? So the entire year we spent like in a holding pattern, like, okay, are we good? Are we oh no, not yet, not yet. We've got Delta variant. Now we've got Omicron, and maybe it's not that bad, but we don't know yet. So the entire year for me is kind of characterized by a great deal of hesitance on the parts of individuals, on the parts of governments, and for where it pertains to our podcast, which is about video games. Hi, hello. In development and release, because we've seen um, supply chains in just about every major industry, including gaming, absolutely clog up as a result of the pandemic, which is what you would expect. And we didn't see a lot of the effects of that in our industry or our industry of concern until, this year.
Yep.
Because so many of the titles that were released through late 2020 were completed well in advance of the pandemic, and they had to undergo like some QA and some spit and polish, but that
Mm.
they were effectively done. And I think you can definitely see the impacts of the pandemic across the gaming space this year, because on one hand, there's fewer titles that like really made a huge splash, fewer titles released overall, especially out of AAA arenas. And on the other hand, you've seen this really interesting shift in conversations about what people are playing towards more wholesome, low stress, kind of really happy or inspirational
Oh,
experiences
we can see
as
that in the
people.
results of the Game Awards this year.
You certainly can. And that's something we definitely want to discuss, because what the hell happened at the Game Awards?
I think the Game Awards are basically nowadays just a formality that happens once a year. Cause I can see that the host, he didn't give a fuck, to be honest. He was like, okay, let me read this out loud in like 15 seconds and then go get some coffee or something. It was just
You remember the year they had the Schick Hydrobot on stage?
Yes.
Like the
Yeah.
razor-headed mascot presenting several awards? That was great.
Yeah, that was cute. I mean, you don't need really much. You just need to have a little bit more enthusiasm, like on stage, not like, you are just been, called to a funeral or something.
Mhm. So something interesting. Do we just want to start with the Game Awards, or where
Yeah,
should we start
let's
this?
let's start with the Game Awards. I mean, that is the
Okay.
freshest thing happened just yesterday. I mean, yesterday of the day of recording,
So
so.
I will start by saying several of the Game Awards categories, and categories that I think are very, very beneficial to have in
Mhm.
like a celebration of gaming, like true gaming culture, not the gamers TM culture.
True gaming
Um,
culture.
Recognize distinguished content creators and esports teams and community events and all of that. But we're not going to be evaluating those winners at length, because, as we mentioned during one of Seth's broadcasts where we voted together, um, they aren't terribly familiar to us.
Right.
We wouldn't know Team A from Team B, broadly speaking. But we are going to be looking at these games, okay? You want me to just start at the top and we provide a
Yeah,
little bit of commentary on each?
exactly,
Sure.
yeah.
Okay. So, Game of the Year, according to the Game Awards, this stunned me, and I have to say, I'm honestly not very happy about it. It Takes Two, the very, very good and wholesome, like, 3D indie platformer, co-op platformer, like kind of action platformer hybrid, I
Yeah.
should say.
If you've
Published,
played Unraveled, kinda in that style,
yeah, 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 yeah,
but with more of a story.
And it won Game of the Year. And I'm looking at the rest of the nominees, and we thought that since it was being very heavily pushed by like the Game Awards in both its battery of nominations and in promotional materials, I was certain that Deathloop was going to be a shoe-in. But it seems to me Deathloop is way more popular among critics than it is among fans who like it
Mm.
but don't seem to love it very broadly. Um, but I thought Deathloop was going to win. Or if it didn't, let me read off for our audience the other nominees, other prospective games of the year: Metroid Dread, Psychonauts 2, the new Ratchet and Clank title, Rift Apart, and Resident Evil Village. All of which insanely popular and really, really exceptional titles.
Yeah.
There's not a single
So
game listed there I don't like,
yeah,
but the selection of It Takes Two is kind of baffling to me. What do
I
you
I
guys
would
think?
I would say like right off the bat, Metroid Dread did not stand a chance.
Hmm.
It came out pretty late. Plus, it kind of has a little bit of an, let's say, maybe niche fan base. I mean, you have to be a
Yeah,
Nintendo fan, right? And
that's
even
fair.
if you're like a Nintendo fan that just came into gaming in the last 10 years, basically, you haven't heard of Metroid Dread because it was like maybe an older title, right? Secondly, the Ratchet and Clank. It was a great game. It was an anticipated game because it came together with PlayStation 5 and it was supposed to be like innovative and this and that.
Like a
After it,
return to form
yeah,
for
yeah,
this
but
franchise.
after its release, you did not really hear that much about it. Like people were saying, yeah, it's a good game, but you didn't really see it much in the news. People were not really talking about it that much. It was just like, yeah, it came out. Yeah, it's
Do
worth
we,
playing and it's a good game, but that's about it.
do we think being a PS5 exclusive then hurt it in these
Yeah,
standings?
Absolutely.
yeah, definitely it hurt it.
Yeah.
And as far as I've read in the articles, it did not really have that much technical advancement that it deserves to be solely an exclusive. They could
But
have
it was, yeah.
backported it.
As I understand it, it was probably the most. Well, that's the problem. I look at Ratchet and Clank and Psychonauts, both
Mm,
great pseudo platformer games that do very different things with
yeah.
the genre's building blocks. And then I look at It Takes Two, which I have to emphasize, I don't dislike. I've seen gameplay footage. It looks really cute. It looks
Hmm.
like a fun time. It looks really well put together, and the indie team behind it did a phenomenal job. But I find it very hard to believe that most people, if they were exposed to all three of those platformers, like a plurality of them would say that It Takes Two was the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Psychonauts was just so impressive.
oh
So
yeah, Psychonauts was great. Like you would not expect a game that came out like a sequel that came out what 10
like
years later or
like
more?
close to 13 years.
15. Yeah.
15, yeah.
Yeah. And usually it's like just the studio tries to get some money from nostalgia
Hmm.
Yeah.
and they just make some half-assed game that's, oh yeah, it brought back good memories, but wasn't that good of a game. But this game was great. This was I'd even say it was better for me than the first one.
Yeah, much better. Like,
Yeah.
that is everything a good sequel should be. And I will say, during the pandemic, it was one of the games that incorporated like narrative elements and world building that felt really uplifting to me, right? Like it was a much needed shot in the arm, a shot of sunshine in gaming form, that I think a lot of people were looking for. Like it was the perfect game for this year.
Yep.
Yeah.
Um,
But there's a reason why Ratchet and Clank was, other than being a PS5 exclusive, why a lot of people who played it were disappointed with it. Because if you watch the trailer when they first announced it, there was like all that intricate world jumping, and they were like,
Hmm.
"Oh, you can go between worlds without a loading screen because of the super fast SSD of the PS5," which is true.
yeah,
But the way they presented it, it made it seem like you're just gonna be able to jump worlds willy nilly, whenever the
like
fuck you want.
toggling between them,
Yeah, like it's
with
like it's
Crash
actually
Bandicoot.
like it's actually gonna be a significant part of the game, like the ability to just like this go between
Yeah,
worlds and have no loading screen. But it's just when you're traveling between worlds, I guess you only get to use that thing like I don't know 4 times in the whole game. It's practically useful. Other than that, it's just a stupid gimmick.
Well, as I understand it, for the most part, the sequences in other dimensions are totally separate stages, for the most part, that another character plays through. So, you're right, the like active dimension swapping thing didn't play a significant role at all. So, okay, that's fair. But then we've got also Resident Evil Village, I'm surprised didn't fare better for itself. Because
Yeah.
early on in the year, people loved that title. Loved,
Yeah.
loved, loved it.
For
The
But
only
that one,
isn't it
I'm
because
surprised.
Village was super short?
That's the only serious criticism I heard, but wasn't It Takes Two also very short?
I'm not sure how many gameplay hours it has.
Let's go to our good friend howlongtobeat.com to find out.
Hmm.
Let me see.
So,
About
10 to
hours.
12 hours to beat or complete with a friend. It should last, but like somebody. Oh, the founder of the studio said it should take you around 14 to 15 hours if you aren't rushing the story.
Mm.
So that's
Okay,
about
okay, that's a decent
That's
size.
double
not,
the
yeah.
size of the Village game.
Yeah, okay. I I'm just still a little perplexed by that because it seems like a good game, but nowhere near as distinguished as several of the others. I would think a lot of players or a lot of voters would have either elected for something like Deathloop, something like Village, or something like Psychonauts. It's it's a curious pick. We'll just leave it at that. I
Yeah.
don't think any of those are bad games. I find it really weird that that one won out. Lots of people online, though, did speculate. It Takes Two, as we will see, did very well across all the categories it was nominated for, and that may be in part due to a last minute groundswell of popular support brought on by the frivolous lawsuit, trademark lawsuit brought on by Strauss Zelnick's Take Two Interactive.
Yeah.
True.
Um,
True.
and why giving them an award in a totally separate ceremony would have any impact on that, I don't know, but hey. Okay. Sorry, carrying on. Best game direction. Deathloop did take that one.
Yeah.
And based on what little of the game I've seen, I'll believe that, sure.
Mm.
I still think Psychonauts 2 had better direction overall, but hey.
I'm not salty.
Best mobile game, Genshin Impact. That's unsurprising, but
Very
I don't know
unsurprising.
if
Yeah.
I would agree.
It's obviously a snake from the Nokia 3310.
Obviously.
Yeah, definitely. No, wait, sorry. It's Elder Scrolls Oblivion on the flip phones.
Oh my
from back in the day.
god.
You remember that?
Yes.
Still better than Elder Scrolls Blades.
Oh, I played Elder Scrolls Blades for a few days and then I decided I liked my life way too much for that.
There you go. Okay, these next two are kind of interesting to me. Best independent game, Kena Bridge of Spirits won. It's that very beautiful game
Mhm.
about a inspired by like indigenous cultures and art, um, based around this girl using spirits of decay to restore order to a world that's grown too static. It's interesting and it looks really fun. But it beat out Inscription and Death's Door, and that makes me upset.
Yeah.
I really like what little I've seen of Inscription. I want to go in blind so I could stream it for you guys.
Mhm.
But it looks stunning, and
Yeah.
Death's Door is so cute, so cute. Best debut indie game, also Kena Bridge of Spirits.
That game, yeah.
Okay. The next one I totally agree with though. Best AR or VR experience, Resident Evil 4. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, but you know what's a bit? I wanted to get the Resident Evil 4 for VR, but it's not a PC game. For the Quest. It's a Quest exclusive,
Right.
and it costs $40, €40,
Oof.
which
That's
is
ooh.
I just don't want to pay that much for a game that's super old and just remade into VR.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a game that you could go down to the shop and get for a physical copy of for like $5.
If you can even find it in the shop.
Right. Best narrative, all the nominees were great. We've got Deathloop, It Takes Two, which actually lost this one. Life is Strange, True Colors, Psychonauts 2, which lost again somehow, and Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, which took the award. I've not played Guardians of the Galaxy. I have a copy incoming, but I've heard very, very good things. So I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I'm still really upset to see Psychonauts just like whiffing all of these somehow.
I can completely This is based on user votes, right?
It's actually a synthesis, a holistic synthesis of user and like the equivalent of Academy members' votes. So like
Huh.
a panel of developers and people like that.
Yes,
Developers
but
and critics vote.
like based on just user votes, I can understand Psychonauts not winning because I don't feel like they have a huge fan base, and
Not
the
massive.
release of the second one wasn't really that big of a deal.
That's true.
Like
That's
some
true.
other games, like which you could for the several few months after they came out still see on Twitch being massively played by everyone who wanted
Uh,
Yep.
to try and get into it.
a lot of these do strike me as the result of votes being cast based on what people are familiar with, right? Which is not a bad thing.
Yeah,
But there were a couple categories I remember where all of us were like, we don't know any of these games, so we ain't gonna vote. But I can definitely see somebody saying like, for best direction or game of the year or something like that. Like, I've never played Psychonauts, don't know much about Ratchet and Clank, but I played It Takes Two with my best friend like a few months back, and that was really good. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'll vote for that one. Like people are voting what they know, which is totally fine. Best action game was Returnal, the PS5 exclusive roguelike dark sci-fi shooter that is also apparently kind of a Souls-like.
I heard from a friend that it's really, really good. So I'm gonna
I
check it
can't
out
wait
eventually.
to dig into it with you guys. Best action adventure title was Metroid Dread, which is kind of interesting.
That I was surprised,
yeah.
yeah.
Considering it beat out titles like Guardians of the Galaxy, Rift Apart, Psychonauts 2, again. Very curious.
Wait,
Best RPG,
if I
Cyberpunk
remember
2077, just kidding.
if I remember correctly, Psychonauts 2 did not win a single award, right?
No, it did not.
Nope.
Even though it was nominated for more than almost any other game.
Yeah, like
Apart from
Psychonauts 2 and Deathloop, yeah.
Deathloop didn't do too well.
I mean, it did better.
Best RPG, Tales of Arise. I don't think I agree, but I understand why it won. That's a very well-regarded series, and the Tales series is incredibly consistent in its quality. They're usually very good RPGs every single time. Best fighting game was Guilty Gear Strive. Okay, sure. Best family game, It Takes Two. Yeah, of course, why not?
Would you call that a family game, though?
Well, it's specifically about how families break apart and nearly ruin each other. So no.
I mean, it's a co-op
I
game, but
saw-
it's a two-man co-op, right? It's not really a family game.
Well, and I saw some people point out in the comments of the Destructoid summary that I'm reading from presently. The game has like a bright and cheery art style, but also some really heavy, serious themes.
Yeah.
And so they're questioning whether or not you could consider it like a family game. I don't know.
Well-
I don't know. No.
Did we lose Brady?
I think we lost Brady. Yeah.
It's a good pose, though. Damn it.
Oh no.
Oh no.
But yeah, I don't think I agree with Brady. I'd say that's a perfect game to play with your brother or sister while mommy and daddy are fighting. I think it's best Brady wasn't here when I made this joke. Hey
Speak
Brady,
of the devil.
welcome
Hey,
back.
Brady.
Well, that never happened before. No, I've never had Discord. Like, everything else worked perfectly fine, and Discord crash.
Oh,
First time for everything.
Sorry, so you lost me somewhere in my discussion of Best Sim, right? Best
we
Sim
also
strategy.
lost your camera.
Yeah.
We're back, don't worry.
Wait, did you say
Go back.
best sim? No, we lost you when you were commenting on It Takes Two being a family game.
Yeah, no, and a lot of people said, quite rightly, due to the themes, maybe it's not really. Oh, that's why Discord had to update itself to let me know that I could put a bunch of silly cartoon backgrounds in
Are
my
you gonna?
video feed now.
Are you gonna?
No, of course not.
No fun in
A,
here.
I'm an adult,
Dang.
and B, I barely got a decent shot like this. Let's see. Best sim or strategy game, with the exception of Microsoft Flight Simulator, which I just don't know why it's there. All of these are great, but the winner was Age of Empires 4, which I think we can all more or less agree with. That's a
Yeah.
franchise that has a special nostalgic place in all of our hearts to varying
Yeah,
degrees.
definitely.
So good. Best sports or racing game, Forza Horizon 5. That makes sense. I mean,
Yeah.
I was really stumping for Hot Wheels Unleashed, but Forza's okay.
Yeah.
Games for Impact, Life is Strange took the trophy, which is unsurprising.
Mm-hmm.
Innovation in accessibility, one of my favorite categories that was added to the Game Awards in recent years. Forza Horizon 5. Okay. I don't know what it has as far as accessibility options go, but I'm quite happy to hear they're included.
Yeah.
Best art direction, Deathloop. All 5 of the nominees are great. I can see why Deathloop won. It's got that retro early 70s like
Yeah.
grindhouse aesthetic going
Yeah.
for it,
Yeah.
which I really really dig. But I don't know. I've not seen enough of Deathloop to say whether or not I prefer it to Psychonauts 2, but I will tell you, based off of what I've seen, they're very close in my book, like
Yeah.
visually, aesthetically.
I agree.
Because, like, on the one hand, you have one of my favorite things, crazy, wacky, really aesthetically distinct little self-contained universes as levels in Psychonauts. But on the other hand, you have Dishonored, but funky, which I think we can all endorse.
Yeah. Dishonored, but less dark and plaguey.
Best score in music is Near Replicant. I can agree with that. Sure. Best audio design is Forza Horizon 5. I guess those engines sound really, really good.
I guess, yeah.
Best
Realistic.
performance was Maggie Robertson, I believe, as Lady Dimitrescu in
Yeah.
Resident Evil Village, which is totally fair.
Definitely deserved, yeah.
Either her or Giancarlo Esposito should have
Yeah.
taken it, I think. Best multiplayer was, guess what? It Takes Two. Of course it was.
Of course.
But I'm looking at like the other nominees. The only one here I could see, or the only two I see here that might have been worthy contenders in my eyes, are Monster Hunter and then Back 4 Blood, which I think probably should have won it.
Yeah, Back 4 Blood was really long-awaited game because everyone wanted, a Left 4 Dead 3. I mean, they didn't get a Left 4 Dead 3, they got a game that is supposed to be
Left 4 Dead
that.
4.
Yeah.
Essentially is just the stuff is differently named, and it's basically what Left 4 Dead 3 would be.
But,
because
guys,
it's made by the same people who made the second one.
I just realized, how people are joking that Gaben is allergic to the number 3?
Yeah, we have Back 4 Blood.
Yeah, exactly.
Left
And
4
3
Dead,
is
yeah.
not there.
It's just a joke at this point. I
Yeah.
love it.
We're never gonna
let
see a
me
new
see.
Half-Life.
Best
Or a new
ongoing
Portal.
game. Dig this, y'all. Best ongoing game and best community support were picked up by Final Fantasy XIV. I totally agree with that.
Absolutely, yeah.
The best MMO on the market right now, hands down. Hands down. It's certainly the most improved over time.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. I gotta say, I don't really do MMOs anymore. And WoW will always have a special place. Fondness, but I think they're doing a much better job with Final Fantasy XIV.
Now that I'm going to have at least some free time, and once I start working wherever, eventually, hopefully, I'll have consistent days off. Maybe all of us could scrape together a little free company of our own and do some dungeons in
Absolutely.
Final Fantasy
Yeah.
on stream.
On stream.
That would be fun and not stressful at all.
Exactly.
Best esports game was taken by League of Legends, which,
Yeah.
I mean, Dota is clearly the superior option there, but hey, I could see why
Yeah.
it won.
Yeah.
And most anticipated game, first off, can we point out that the official working title for the Zelda sequel is the sequel to Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild?
Yes.
Have you seen the official like Nintendo timeline for their releases in late 2021 and 2022?
Mm-mm.
So
No.
they've got all the icons, like the proper logos for each title, right? So
Yeah.
Pokemon Legends Arceus in like the bright shiny font. Hey Eclipse, good
Hi,
evening, man.
Hey,
Eclipse.
Glad to see
Clips.
you. Hope you're doing well. And like Kirby in the Forgotten World has that game's official logo. And then you have an official like gold and white bordered Zelda-esque font like crammed into a tiny corner, this little paragraph, the sequel to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild on the official like promotional material.
Yeah. Great.
Um Eclipse says, "How is everyone?" Oh, doing great, man. We're just
Okay.
recapping the winners of the Game Awards as if that was a thing that really mattered, and largely so we can get angry that Psychonauts didn't win.
Yeah, basically what he said.
Oh boy. Final one I'm going to cover. Most anticipated game is, of course, Elden Ring. That's totally unsurprising.
Yeah,
That's
Elden
good
Ring
one.
or
I
Breath
agree.
of the Wild, the sequel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, God of War Ragnarok is gonna be a pretty good game, I think, as well, because they usually every God of War they make is really good.
hmm
Horizon games, I gotta be honest, I haven't even got tempted to play the first one.
It's very good. Like, as open world games go, it's gorgeous, and it actually feels great in one's hands. Like, the
Mm.
character's playstyle's really solid.
Yeah, and then you have Starfield, which is a Bethesda game, which means even after it's released, you're still gonna be waiting a couple of months before they release a non-bugged version of
I'm just
Pretty much.
waiting for those fire-breathing space shuttles.
it.
You know they're coming.
And then they're gonna come up with an idea of making it a MMO-ish game, Starfield 76. They're just gonna remove all the NPCs and add more players.
No, they're gonna remove like all the planets. You're just going to be drifting through the cold vacuum of space, making your own fun. Until hackers could figure out how to spawn in the Pridwin from Fallout 4.
Wouldn't surprise
Wow.
me, yeah.
Yeah, no, and the whole thing's going to be run on the Quake infrastructure. It's gonna be great. Um, So yeah, I could see why Elden Ring took that one. I think again the relative exclusivity of Nintendo properties on like the Switch anymore probably prohibited Nintendo titles from taking more
Yeah.
wins this year. I think I really do.
Mhm.
Um,
I honestly
because
don't
like
think that Nintendo gives a shit about Game
oh
Awards, so.
no, they don't have to. They've been around and been fairly successful for about 150 years.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
well,
for them
I
it's
mean
really the.
everything they you can play on a Nintendo pretty much is a Nintendo exclusive.
hmm
So, you know, they
Yeah,
have
and
a
now with the
huge amount
Switch.
of exclusives.
Yeah, and now with the Switch they even opened up to other titles. So,
Yeah, but it's still not their primary source of income because
yeah.
if you look at a PS5 that has some PS5 exclusives and a PlayStation that has then a little bit more
Hmm.
PlayStation exclusives that you can play on either of those consoles. I mean, most people are just gonna be, you know what? I'm not dishing out like 500 plus bucks for a
Hmm.
console so I can play one or two games that I want to play because
Right,
you know all the exclusives aren't gonna be something that one person is interested in.
not at
Uh,
all.
yeah, and most people that go for a console, like a PlayStation, are the ones that just want to play from their couch or they want to play with their brother, sister, family, whatever.
Yeah,
Right.
But Nintendo, like, you want to play Super Mario games? You gotta dish out for a Nintendo.
they're
You
the
want to
only game in
play
town.
Zelda, Pokemon? You know, dish out for a fucking Nintendo. Like, if
Mm.
you're patient enough, most of those PS exclusives are gonna end up on the PC
Mm-hmm.
eventually. And there's even the PS Now where you can just stream it to your PC. It's not very good, but it'll do the trick. But Nintendo? Ooh, no. That's why they can afford to make their games super expensive,
Yeah.
even though it's a
Yeah.
tiny little cartridge.
And even though their hardware usually isn't on par with their competitors or even close.
Oh no, like a Switch is pretty much the exact same price that a PlayStation 4 was uh, when they released, and you know, it's a much smaller piece, a much smaller box. You can put all the hardware you have in a
Right.
PS4 into
Yeah.
that thing. It's super lesser performance wise. Not saying quality wise,
Yeah. No,
but it's also a portable
performance-wise.
console, so that's also a niche they have.
Yeah.
It's like being able to carry around a 360 with you effectively. That's what you're looking at.
Pretty much, yeah.
In terms of its capabilities. Eclipse has got it. He says Nintendo crawled out of the primordial soup, made the first handheld, which weighed half a ton, 8 pixels on the screen, declared it was good, then guarded it jealously for all eternity. Yep.
Oh yeah.
Pretty much.
But I respect Nintendo, frankly, as a business way more than just about any other old timer in the video games industry as far as corporations go, because they're very simple, very straightforward, and very honest with their business model. We're going to make funny little toys, we're going to sell the funny little toys to you, and we are going to desperately, assiduously try to get you to forget the Wii U ever happened.
Yeah, but they
Yeah.
also do some shady shit too.
They
Like
do.
the whole what was it called? The Nintendo PlayStation. Their supposed what was it supposed to be like
Oh, the
team effort
Nintendo
with
for
Sony.
The
CD.
first CD, and then they partnered up with Philips, I think.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
partnered up with Philips to fuck over Sony. They purposely did that
Yeah, and
and
then
because
they fucked
they
themselves.
realized
Yeah.
no,
look
because they
how well that
realized
worked out.
if we do this, they realized if we do this, um, then we no longer have the I'm not don't exactly remember what, but they would lose the due to the contract they had, they would lose the I think exclusivity to publish their games, so others
Yeah.
could. I think Sony could publish games, and that's where most of their money comes from. And then they purposely tanked the deal with Sony. And then Sony said like, "Fuck you, Nintendo. We're gonna make this without you. Go fuck yourself."
Yeah,
Yeah.
but Nintendo clapped back though really hard. They were like, "Okay, fine. We're going to give our most beloved characters to these people who don't know what video games are and are making a VCR. Compete with that." And it
Wow.
went over exactly as well as you would expect. But
Pretty much.
to be fair. I mean, yeah, Sony's doing pretty well for themselves.
Pretty much.
And Nintendo's also doing quite well. Like the load-in little action platformer Astro's Playroom that comes with the PS5 is like a very bright, springy, curated journey, glow up history of PlayStation. But are people still talking about a lot of PSX launch titles to this day? We still talk about and remember Zelda CDI very
Oh,
clearly.
yeah. Yeah.
Maybe Nintendo did win. And
Crash Bandicoot.
we need to revise the history. Yeah, but not Crash Bandicoot 1. Mm-mm.
We are not gonna mention those anymore. It was a dark time.
Spyro.
It was a
Was
dark
Spyro
time.
1 a launch title?
Not sure.
I don't think so. Could have been, though. Could have been. But yeah, no, the Philips CDI, we still talk about that. We still remember that. We still love it, too.
To hate it.
I
Love
mean,
to hate it.
where else could you get a terrible, terrible video game version of Clue? Like, franchises that only legally resemble Zelda and Mario, and really, really the system seller, The Flowers of Robert Mapplethorpe, all on one system. Nowhere. Nowhere else. So that aside, um, how are we feeling about the Game Awards, or about like I guess that particular voting block's response to this year's titles overall? What do you guys think?
Not most of those aren't what I would go for, but
Yeah.
just one person.
I mean, I think they were just there to. I don't know, to be honest. I know that most of the people that I know, at least, and that I've talked to, were looking forward to the Game Awards not as a show where you see who gets what award, but for
Yeah.
the potential announcements.
Yes.
There have been so many people who were waiting for maybe something on Breath of the Wild 2, which obviously did not
We didn't
happen.
get.
Yeah, what else were they waiting on? Oh, I forgot. There was also one title that they wanted to hear more about. Oh, Chrono Cross potential remake.
Right. And
Yeah,
no dice there either, correct?
yeah. So
But didn't our boy Sonic get a new title announced?
Sonic got a new
Yeah.
title announced. We saw a little bit more of Hellblade 2, which
Yeah,
was
I
really
saw
good.
that.
We
Yes, it
saw
does.
a new game being released for in the Star Wars universe, which I'm very excited about. Star Wars
Okay.
Eclipse.
All
It's an
right.
action adventure game that is supposed to be set, I think, 100 or 200 years before the movies.
Ooh,
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. So that
that
one is gonna be good.
sounds very compelling.
Yeah, so we did get some. Oh, and also they showcased Matrix in Unreal Engine, which looked breathtaking.
Nice.
Yeah.
So okay, the announcements were pretty good overall.
Oh,
I'm
Mm.
and they
prepared for
actually asked Keanu about his opinion on people making cyberpunk mods where they can have sex with his character.
Yeah.
His reply was like, if he's heard of it, um, if he was aware of it, and his
Yeah.
reply was, "Yes, oh my God, it's always nice when it's nice."
Oh, poor guy.
In other words,
He was so
Keanu
bashful about
Reeves.
it.
Keanu Reeves was probably on another planet during that interview.
Yeah. Oh,
No, then
and
he
Al.
started talking about VR porn for some reason. Uh,
Oh, well then. But yeah,
So
another
that again,
announcement. Yeah.
that that tells me the interviewee either doesn't care or is intoxicated. One or the other,
Or
or both.
both. Yeah. Or maybe he
oh
just
God,
had a few lines that he had to repeat, and he was just like in a constant loop.
no, there's a little excerpt from like the interview.
Yeah.
So they were having the interview with him and Carrie Ann Moss.
Uh huh.
And then he goes like, "Think of how much money is in porn, right?" Says Reeves as part of Carrie Ann Moss's soul forever floats off into the ether. So you could not even have to be there, and people could have digital sex with your digital avatar. What's it called right now? For members only? You could do a whole thing. Oh my God! Then you get the suit that's probably made in Sweden or some German thing.
Send
Ladies and
help.
gentlemen, Cyberpunk 2077
What?
continuing to disappoint a year on.
Even Keanu Reeves is done with everything. He's just like, nah, I'm out. But yeah, another announcement that I'm really excited about is actually Alan Wake 2. Also got, well, Brady, breathe. He's still shaking.
Go on.
Yeah, the only thing that was disappointing for me is that they turned it into a survival horror, and I can't play that. I can't survive playing that. So,
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
you can do that. We believe in you.
I'm kind of disappointed they didn't immediately go for like a Control sequel, but that's just the SCP nerd in me. The Alan
They
Wake titles are really good.
they did say that they officially confirmed that those two titles are in the same universe.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
As of Control's last DLC, I'm pretty
yeah,
sure they did.
yeah.
It
Oh,
says-
really? I didn't know that.
Also, I just bought PS3 Demon Souls. Will be here tomorrow. All right, enjoy
Ooh,
it.
nice. Are we gonna see some Demon Souls streams coming up soon?
Are you just gonna beat it, or are you gonna do a challenge run? That's the better question.
Yeah.
Mm.
We know you can beat it. Like if Potato did it in a day and a half, you can do it as well. So,
Wow.
but can you do it naked?
I mean your character naked.
In-game.
Yeah. Your
In-game.
character
We
naked,
don't want to get
obviously.
Eclipse banned.
Anyways, what were your guys' favorite announcements from the Game Awards? Anything you're looking forward to? Potato?
What was that thing I put in? Jesus Christ! I just blanked out for some reason.
What was that thing that I put in?
No, like what was the Final Fantasy VII remake for PC.
Ah,
Oh
I
yeah.
have it on the PlayStation,
yeah.
but I don't have the what is called Intergrade version with some extra DLCs because
Yeah.
it's a PS5 exclusive.
Oh.
The Blood
Oh,
of
right,
Yeah,
you're
Bullshit.
very
yeah.
salty about that.
The Wu-Tai
Yeah,
quest line is exclusive to that episode, I'm pretty sure.
yeah. So I think I'm just gonna get it on the PC and get the other parts on the PC as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
Oh, that's right. Eclipse reminds us I can't do a series because PS3 streaming with Elgato. Right. Right.
Oh right. I should be a way to do it. There are people who are saying they can do it. Oh, okay, no, it can't because the PS3 uses the same protection that the PS4 has, but you can turn it off on the PS4.
Yeah,
Correct.
yeah.
Oh,
Okay,
what a load
well,
of bullshit.
yeah, that sucks. What did I wanna say? Yeah, so what did you guys play this year that you want to share with everyone? Like anything breathtaking that you think other people should know about?
Well, definitely Psychonauts 2.
Mm-hmm.
If I have to
Okay,
pick a game of the year for
fanboys.
this year, if I have to pick a game of the year for this year, it's definitely Psychonauts 2. I fucking
Yeah,
loved it,
agreed.
and I hope they make a sequel,
Mm-hmm.
but we don't wait another 15 years for it.
Like
Yeah,
Microsoft, just like I know Double Fine loves getting really creative. Never thought I'd ask this of a publisher. Stop them from being creative. Just lock them down and tell them this is what you make from now on.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But don't rush them with making the game. We don't want to
No,
have a
A
half-baked game.
cyberpunk.
Oof.
Whoops.
Psychopunk.
A, cy- a psychopunk, yes. What
Anything
about?
else?
I don't know.
I mean, it doesn't need to be a game
You
that was
mean?
released this year, just
No,
that you
Yeah,
played
yeah.
this year.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm thinking. Well, definitely. I like you said, I just beat Demon Souls recently,
Mm-hmm.
and the PS3 version. And I liked it. I liked it more than Dark Souls 3 for sure.
Okay.
And yeah, pretty sure I liked it more than Dark Souls 1.
So
Eh,
you're like me then. It goes for you 1, 3, and demons and maybe 2 kind of somewhere ambiguously floating up above.
Oh,
Or 1, 3, sorry.
Dark Souls
Yeah.
2 is definitely better than Demon Souls. Demon Souls was a bit too short for me and a little
Yeah,
bit too linear. Even
Okay.
though you can pick the areas you want to go, each area is super linear.
that's true. That's true.
And Dark Souls 2 is just go wherever, kill whatever, and just, eventually you'll be done with it.
It's kind of like Sekiro's layout where it's like, okay, there's 20 different bosses just arrayed in a circle around you. Just go forth and slay.
Yeah, yeah.
Go forth and slay queen.
Even though Sekiro is less linear than Demon Souls.
Yes, it is. It is. It doesn't have many paths, but usually all of them or a point along all of them is open to you at all times
Yeah.
throughout the
Yeah.
game. Eclipse says regarding Double Fine, this is what you're good at, so make it. Right? Um, yeah, and Potato, you played like all of the Souls likes or the mainline Soulsborne entries for the first time this year.
Yeah, actually, haven't finished them all until I finished Sekiro, but yeah, play them all. I'm not sure how much they changed in the remake of Demon Souls, but hopefully I'll eventually get the chance to do that as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Again,
I can say I did it all.
yeah, and we're going to do what? A co-op playthrough of Elden Ring first?
Oh, definitely, yeah. Oh, I cannot wait for that.
Oh,
What?
same
That's
here,
gonna be
man.
so great.
What about Remnant? You guys have been enjoying that thing
Oh
together for
yeah,
a while.
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that was fun. That was
It,
definitely fun.
it's
But
one of the best. Like, it's not quite up there with Psychonauts because it wasn't released this year. But it is one of the best games I played this year, and probably one of those which I would most readily recommend to people who are looking for something new to get into, especially as we continue to have to live in a world where we are more physically isolated than many of us would care to be. If you're looking for something you can do with friends,
Yeah,
remotely,
definitely.
wirelessly, it is an exceptional co-op title and one that allows for far more seamless and consistent cooperation than any Soulsborne title to date. It's exceptional. I think the way it handles loot and perks between or being distributed between players in
Mm-hmm.
shared sessions is really admirable. Where if one person gets it, everybody in the party gets it. So that
Yeah.
instead of competing with one another, de facto or de jure, you have all the incentives in the world to work together and support one another, which is really what Souls likes are supposed to encourage in a lot of their multiplayer by design, I think.
Yeah.
And the world building, the way that each of the five enemy factions not only looks distinct but has a totally different gameplay style and array of
Mm.
tactics you're encouraged to use against them, top tier stuff. And the addition of adventure mode that allows you to re-roll individual worlds to farm for treasures and the like, and a survival mode that drastically changes the way the game plays and encourages experimentation and innovation on the player's part, which is a huge deal for me as somebody who never breaks from an early game build that works for me because
Yeah.
I'm anxious and scared. Really encouraged me to play around a lot more. It's a solid game with so much to offer, and in its current state, with both DLCs released and you probably being able to pick it up for at the most $40, I would say Souls-like fans or fans of co-op shooters have absolutely no reason not to look into Remnant.
At the most $40, or maybe you got it for free on Epic and
That's
weren't
true.
gonna play it because you just wanted free. You just took it because it's a free game. Definitely play it.
Yeah.
It's really good. It's
Eclipse
also
is like,
super linear,
oh yeah, well,
but done much better than Demon Souls was.
it's
I
linear
enjoyed
but
it.
with randomization. Think of it like
Yeah, that's
roguelike
true.
world generation.
Yeah, that's true. It's still linear. You still have to go through basically the same pathway to get to the end of the world. It's just not gonna be the same boss every time.
You will see, like in a single, totally unabated campaign playthrough, roughly half of the base game's content.
Yeah,
Not
about that.
quite half.
Yeah.
Um, Eclipse says, I can't wait for Elden Ring. And, oh, a game I'm looking forward to is on Steam. Look up Glide of the Dragon. Is it a Spyro inspired title? I would presume so. Let me have a look-see. If my Steam
The
client will
graphics
work.
look kind of Zelda-like, like Breath of the
Yeah!
Wild. Looks actually really graphically looks
Yeah.
kind of looks like a Spyro with Zelda Breath of the Wild graphics.
It looks,
Mm.
and I don't mean this negatively, it looks like Spyro if it were set in the world of Immortals Phoenix Rising.
It also kind of has a Demon Souls UI.
It does. It does.
Kinda. Yeah. Yeah.
Or like like a Darksiders UI.
Yeah,
Yes. 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 Yes.
Eclipse says it is, but the combat looks very Dawn of the Dragon instead of the original platformer Spyro. Okay, okay. Sounds
does
pretty
it
cool.
have keys and doors?
If so, it's a
It's a
Metroidvania.
Metroidvania.
Let me see. Is there, Potato, any other games you would recommend for people that you discovered this year or that were released?
This year, oh God, what did I even play all this year?
What did even happen this year?
Sekiro, I have started to be okay with it. I'm
There
not
you
sure
go.
if the game is growing on me or it's Stockholm syndrome. Uh, when did Phasmophobia release this year?
Maybe officially, like
No,
a.
that was last year. That was last year. That was
But
last year.
still, if you discovered it this
Yeah,
year,
yeah, definitely. It's fun, especially if you got a full like team of friends that you can
Mhm.
play with. Because it might not be as fun if you're playing it solo. Um, what else? I really enjoyed the Sam and Max VR game,
Yeah,
even though it wasn't really as much of a Sam and Max game because it kind of was lacking on their funny banter that they usually have.
hmm
Because they're here, I guess they mostly try to sort of, I guess, include you.
they're just kind of set dressing for a series of very well executed VR mini games. That's
Yeah,
kind of the sense I
but
get for it.
One I would definitely recommend that I really enjoyed playing, Valheim.
Yeah,
Really, really good game. If you got a bunch of friends you can play with, just set up your own server, build your own village, or everyone can build their own fortress.
Mm-hmm.
Super fun, and I cannot wait for more updates on the game.
I actually really want to play it at some point. It looks fascinating, like kind of
Oh
the
yeah,
the
it's fun.
siege defense mechanics that inspire quite a bit of it. It's looks pretty cool. Eclipse says I'd recommend Neo, just don't do what I did. Uh, and hey Dan, good to
Hey,
see you. I'm
Dad.
making a game called Ban Potato. Well,
Maybe like
Wow.
whack a potato, like whack-a-mole, but with potatoes. You just end up making mashed potatoes. Mm.
Hit them with the band hammer.
Ding, 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 ding.
it's okay though. We needn't fear the Ban Hammer because it's a slow, sluggish strength weapon. We're fine.
Also, potato, you've been
Um,
eating potato chips. Is that cannibalism?
Tal says
Um,
Neo am a good game.
nah, it's
It
fine.
really is. Um, for that on that note, even though I believe it did release last year, I would highly recommend Neo 2 to any big fans of Souls likes. A lot of the folks I know who've played and are fond of Neo 1 haven't gotten around to that game or aren't terribly aware of it or its value, but I will say it is a slightly longer game than Neo 1.
Mm.
Apparently, its DLC is just as good, and the options for character customization and build diversity are far, far greater. It
Mm-hmm.
is a superior sequel in almost every dimension. Particularly when it comes to level design, is the first thing that jumps out to me. It was one of the first games I played through in quarantine, and it really helped buoy me through those first kind of really uncertain weeks. That and Yakuza Kiwami 2, which is
Mm.
just
One game that we
um
haven't mentioned, and I think that, well, at least Brady and I played it for sure, is Blue Fire.
yes,
That game, I think, deserves a bit more praise and a little bit more spotlight than it got, because it handles platforming in 3D and like just movement in general spectacularly.
insanely well.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
given how easy it is for platforming in a 3D space to feel kind of loose, especially when you have to maneuver really tightly, the fact that a very small, nascent, so like newcomer, indie team managed to handle really dynamic 3D platforming. I'm talking the kind of thing where you have to expect your player to be able to make like 3 or 4 jumps consecutively
Yeah.
and several midair dashes, running along walls and all this, and the game demands precision at times. It's not like do whatever you want, go as you will. Like some of the obstacle courses you have to run to gain more life are really
Mm.
tight. The game controls so smoothly and executes all of it really well. I was astounded that they were able to do
Oh, yeah.
that. The combat's really poor, but it's also not the game's focus. Um, Let me see. Uh, Eclipse says in before Potato pioneers a game called Bandan, and
No, I can't do that because Dan already banned me once on
You
his
cannot say ban and
channel.
then too many times in a row because it just doesn't make any sense anymore. Ban, dan, ban,
Dan the bad man.
dan the ban man, yes.
Eclipse says the only issue I've had with Neo so far is randomly running out of medicines that make bosses possible. Consumables, yeah, that can be a problem. And Val says Neo 2 was fun while I played it. I think it handles a bit better. It does. It's a little smoother, and yokai stamina is handled much better in that game, I think. He also says love Blue Fire. To be honest, it feels really tight, a lot like Hollow Knight in 3D. Yes. And if you say ban Dan 3 times in front of a mirror, he'll come out and ban you.
No,
Oh
it's enough if you just write once in his chat jokingly that he's bad at World of Warcraft and he'll ban you instantly.
Oh, yeah, especially when he doesn't know that's potato. And then he was like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. Eh. Potato was very confused. I still remember that moment. He was like, wait, what?
Oh, that was hilarious.
Yeah. He was like, does Dan know that that's me? I was like, nope, no idea.
Imagine though, that's what like urban legends are gonna look like if quarantine continues much longer, right?
Mm.
Like instead of ancient ghosts and all that, it's if you call upon the name of a particularly rude Discord admin several times, they'll ban you or otherwise
Oh
silence you.
no.
And that
Wow.
account was deactivated years ago. Um, let me see. The other game I would like to spotlight at this time, aside from the great Ace Attorney Chronicles, which, if you are a fan of logic puzzle games or excellent narrative and character centric visual novels, you need to go pick up. Support Capcom, support that team specifically, because we need more Ace Attorney in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
Just need more of it. It's a great series. I've been mainlining it. You get two great games for one. Uh, Relatively affordable price. I want to say Great Ace Attorney Chronicles sold at release at just over 2/3 of the standard release
Mm-hmm.
cost of a full video game, a single like a AAA video game in the US, and you're getting two of them. However, the first one is a little short, but still great value. But the game I was wanting to highlight before my brain just did that thing where it switched junctions on me, and I ended up ranting and raving about something totally separate, was Eldest Souls, the
Ah. Mm.
like classic, vaguely pixel art looking indie boss rush Souls like that sees players travel to a fastness that is used as a prison for all sorts of ancient and malefic gods, fighting through deities with unique sets of mechanics based upon their spheres, one at a time until you can make your way to like this dark god of corruption who's like threatening the fabric of the world and yada yada yada.
Yeah.
It offers a great deal of avenues for character customization where despite not having much options in the way of weaponry or anything like that, you do get to choose a ridiculous amount of active and passive buffs with skill points acquired from battles used to allow characters to progress down one of three different skill trees that generate insane amounts of gameplay variety, giving you things like a berserk effect that allows you to deal more damage the more rapidly you strike enemies within a certain amount of time, or generating small little homing missiles on every successful melee strike, things like that. And with every single boss, barring one or two, giving you access to a complete unique move set. Um, Through items that you can use to buff like your character's standard like cooldown special attacks, which drastically change the way the game is played. It's a really hard game, but it's really, really, really good. And it is another indie title that was put together in part during the pandemic, and the team behind it worked very, very hard and amidst very inclement conditions to produce it. And
Mm.
so I'm just always for show and love to indie Souls-like creators.
Indeed.
Um, oh yeah, the other game I played this year I think more people should know about is Immortal Unchained, so they know exactly how impressive it is that indie teams are able to produce things like a Mortal Shell, like an
Impressive
Eldest
at
Soul.
being bad.
Like no, cause like a much bigger indie team made Immortal Unchained. They
That's true.
had resources. They tried.
And it was their second attempt, right? Didn't you say that they revamped the entire game?
The entire path of progression. Yeah, that's the director's cut. And the sad thing is, I've watched them both. I don't know which one's worse. I think they might have made it worse.
Yeah, it's
Sad.
it's crazy. That game, like watching it, was painful, and I can only imagine how it was playing it. Honestly, that one I would not play it even as a joke.
One of the no, maybe the only Souls like I've ever seen where a boss had full 360-degree melee attack tracking.
Yes.
And I don't mean like a 360-degree radius. An attack that hits a small area in front of the boss had the boss like pivot in a full circle to track with. Let's see. Val says, if we're shouting out games, I'd like to nominate Pray for the Gods, a Shadow of the Colossus like, which pairs elements from Shadows of the Colossus and Breath of the Wild in a fun way. Yeah, I've seen that one.
That
It
was the
also has
one.
like
That was the
That
one
had
that
to
had
change
some
their name.
controversy. Yeah.
Because Bethesda sued them.
Yeah,
Fucking
because
Bethesda.
Or
Prey was
Cinemax,
taken. Mm.
more specifically.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
the parent company.
Hmm.
Because Prey is also a video game.
Yeah, I actually bought Prey on release and I streamed it, and I remember that was the first game that caused me issues in streaming. I could not play it and stream it, and that was the first game that I couldn't. And I realized like a couple of weeks after it was because there was a lot of memory leaks in it. So I waited a little while and then I managed to play it. I waited until they patched it.
A Bethesda had a game had memory leaks in it. What a fucking
No.
surprise!
The
Well,
game
no, see,
itself was pretty good though. Released in
it was
2015, I think.
it was Bethesda published, so I have a feeling that was part of like one of their publisher mandates.
Ah,
Your game
right,
has
right.
to be as broken as ours.
Your game has to
Don't make
leak
us look bad.
in some way.
It also says, heaven forbid games have similar names. Flashback to Outer Wilds and the Outer Worlds. I
I,
know, I
I still
confuse those
confuse
two
them.
all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Outer Worlds are the Fallout likes. Outer Wilds is that weird, like, time loop based space
Yeah, yeah.
exploration.
Yeah. Like usually when I'm talking about them, instead of saying the name, I say like that Fallout that was better.
And you'd be
The
right.
space Fallout.
Yeah. I did play the I almost said the Outer Wilds, the Outer Worlds this year, and I gotta say I was very pleasantly surprised. I played it on the Switch, and generally people don't really like it on the Switch because they had to throttle down on the graphics and a little bit of performance. But it was,
Yeah.
for me, it was a pleasant experience.
Oh yeah, yeah. The world and a lot of the characters are really, really well written.
Yeah, yeah. I genuinely cared about the characters, which, that didn't happen in a Fallout game in a long time.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I played it on release, and I think I finished the game in like 2 days. I didn't
Mm,
fucking sleep until I finished it.
yeah.
Off
That's really rare to happen nowadays.
slightly off topic,
Yeah.
but and I know there's ways you can build a coalition because it's exactly what I did. But which faction did you guys side with more than any other? Like, whose approach do you believe was most correct?
The engineer ones. What was it? The engineers?
The
Uh,
folks on the space station, you mean,
yes,
or the
yes.
iconoclasts?
The
The
space.
space station.
Yeah, space station people.
I went with, well, I made a coalition between them and the iconoclasts, but I was with Monarch.
Of course you
Like,
were. You always have to go against the flow.
no, 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 no. Like, let's use existing institutions, but revamp them and reform them in order to better serve the people that are supposed to work with and for them. Yay!
No,
Yay!
Brady, that's socialism. That's not okay.
It literally is like a boss wanting to offer people healthcare in exchange for working for him.
Communism. That's not allowed.
Let's see. That was yeah, because it was made by Arcane. Prey was, that is. A normally really good developer, but Bethesda shit on their production quality.
Yeah,
Sounds about right. Also
sounds
says in the Outer
Bethesda.
Worlds, I found some of the choices were pretty black and white. Nothing really went gray. They made you choose betwixt corporate or freedom, where no choice is really good. Well, no, I think either Monarch Stellar Industries or MSI and the Iconoclast, the reformed Iconoclast working together, if you drive out their leader, actually work really well together. There's a centralized government and like series of institutions that care for and want to help people, and a bunch of activists on the ground trying to help them identify and solve problems. That's, compared to what you started with in the Rim, that's really good. I was kind of disappointed that I couldn't like get the trash pirate mafia over like in the end, but you know, like Red Line Shipping or something like that. The faction that starts talking about aliens
Oh
halfway through
yeah.
the quest line. I loved them.
Yeah.
Um. Anyhow, sorry, tangent again. Outer Wilds, and Outer Worlds, both great games. I totally did not just say Outer Wilds when I meant to say Outer Worlds there, and have
Totally not.
to a single generic sentiment. Um. So at the end of this year, I'm curious to think, what are your guys' general feelings on all of the games and all of the movements we've seen or moments we've seen in gaming as an industry and as a marketplace, as a culture throughout the year. Like, how do you feel about what we've seen? How do you feel about what we got in our hands? How do you feel about what appears to be on the horizon? Like,
I don't know. I'm looking forward to some. I'm just looking forward to Elden Ring, and I'm hoping the rumors of it having like over 100 bosses
yeah,
is gonna be true. So I have at least one good game to play for the entire next year.
yes.
And oh God! But
I'm
like,
looking
imagine
forward to
like,
watching you guys play the
oh
game, of
yeah,
course. Play the game.
no, but like, imagine playing a game for like 3 months to kill all the bosses, and then
Yeah.
welcome to New Game Plus. Do it all over again.
Yeah,
Hell, I'd do it.
you guys are gonna go for platinum, aren't you?
Probably.
I may for once. I may.
Oh God.
Probably. Yeah.
Val says, honestly, all I'm really excited for is Elden Ring. I really have no other want. I think quite a lot of people feel that way. I don't
Yeah.
think. Yeah.
Like he says about Outer Worlds, yeah, but the moral choice was really my only gripe with the game. It felt like New Vegas definitely had a lot more freedom of choice for the finale. Yeah, but New Vegas also had a larger budget and way more moving parts, I think. Outer Worlds was made on kind of a shoestring budget and not a lot of time, and they did something really, really impressive. Um, and he says Elden Ring might be the first ever game I actually decide to go for platinum on. Right on.
Neat.
So no, Potato, you're pretty optimistic for next year and for the future.
Yeah, yeah. You know, there's always gonna be at least one game that's good.
Absolutely, all the time.
Uh,
And if you haven't found it that month, it's because you haven't looked hard enough.
yeah, and I'm just hoping they remove Bobby Kotick as CEO of
Yes.
Blizzard Activision, and they can start making WoW great again.
Yeah. But
Zeph,
yeah,
how do you feel?
about which part in
The
particular?
whole thing, like whole year, like give us.
The whole year. I would say it was a bit of a slow year, but I mean, when it comes to announcements, releases were completely fine. But to be fair, I'm more of a indie gamer in the last, I don't know, year or two. And most of the titles that, I enjoy playing don't even get big announcements. You just get them released and then you play them. So,
Or there's something kind of like anymore the way like Capcom would treat Mega Man
yeah,
or Ace Attorney or something like that, where they
yeah.
are released by a AAA studio, but like they are at the very bottom of their announcement card at each.
Exactly. Like for most of them, you don't even get any announcements. So, and Ace Attorney is again another game that I'm looking forward to seeing what they're gonna do in the future. Because considering now that they like kind of re-released one of the older titles, well, remade one of the older titles, I think that they are trying to revive the series in like
In
as
the
a whole.
West.
Yeah.
Y'all, buy this. Buy this now. Do
Buy
it.
this so we get more.
Yeah, no. To be fair though, good news for Ace Attorney freaks like ourselves. Not only did this do really well in Japan and in the States, but the previous title, Spirit of Justice, did insanely well among critics and players alike. I just don't know if it sold. I mean, it sold well enough. These are visual novels. You can't expect them to sell
Also,
super.
buy this so we get more of this in the West as well. My camera is flipped, isn't it? But you can see it's Shin
No,
Megami Tensei.
No, actually, it's fine. It's
Really?
readable.
Oh, for
Yeah,
me it's
buy
flipped.
this.
Raise as
Pepsi?
well.
No product placement. We're not sponsored.
Oh, wait, it's flipped on stream.
Oh, great.
Because on stream you see it as I see it. In any
Vala-
case, it was Shin Megami Tensei.
Where's my Ace Attorney in Smash? He was in MVC, I think. Wasn't Phoenix Wright in the newer Marvel vs. Capcom games, and wasn't he actually
Yes!
like really good?
Yes! Yes! Wow, like. But it would be fun to see him like just his ultimate would be objection.
And like you could have alternate skins for Apollo and Athena and hell Edgeworth. Tons of fan favorites.
Oh yeah. I
Yeah, boy.
we'll see, but I am hoping that we are gonna see something come with that series soon-ish.
And we could base an entire podcast, or at least like Seth, you and I could, around like just Ace Attorney fan discourse.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I really hope they give now long-time supporting character Athena
Yeah.
Sykes a proper title as like the main
Yeah.
character
I
next.
one other like series of games that for some reason got like more spotlight in the last year was Danganronpa series.
Yes, that's correct.
I don't know why or how, but I've seen so many people play them. Maybe because I think they got like a
An
remastered version
anniversary
or
re-release.
anniversary or something like that. Like
Yeah,
why the reason why I didn't buy them earlier was the fact that usually visual novels cost way too much. They're like 60 euros or more per episode or something like that, and like all in all it gets really expensive. But for the anniversary, they had a lot of discounts, so it was worth getting it.
Um, Valas, did anybody play Near Automata? I did back when it was released.
Yeah, I
I
did as
really
well. I
liked.
never finished it though.
I didn't.
I have not played the original Near
Replicant?
replicant Western release though.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is just a different alternate version of the original Near that we never received in the West, but it is apparently very good,
Mm.
unsurprisingly.
Yeah, I just got bored at some point. I don't know why I wasn't really that pulled in with the story. Like the soundtrack was good. Like the gameplay mechanics were good, but just story wise, I was like, eh. I
It
don't
has
know.
a bestiary.
It has a what?
It has a bestiary.
Okay, I have to play it then.
As we
um.
know, bestiaries make all games better.
Oh yeah, they make it. They make them really much better. Um. But yeah, like generally I'm really surprised how much progress the Switch has made in the last year.
Yeah.
Um, a lot of them should have been there from the get-go, like the Bluetooth mode for the Switch, so that you can actually use your wireless headset with it. What else? Of course, a big flop with the Switch was the Nintendo Online edition. For how much was it? Like $80 a year or
And
something like that.
insane for the service that was being
Yeah,
offered.
yeah, and basically what you
Yeah.
get are a few Nintendo 64 games that, well, are good, right? But you can get them on the emulator for free at this point, so,
Meanwhile, on PS5, if you are a PlayStation Plus member, you get, I believe, standing Game Pass style access to a
Mm-hmm.
pretty hefty roster of a couple dozen plus what they called generation defining PS4
Yeah.
titles for free. So you
Mm-hmm.
get Bloodborne free, God of War free, Resident Evil 7 free, all of those
Mm-hmm.
titles. And
Yeah.
that's with the price of purchase of PlayStation Plus, which gets you anywhere now from 2 to 4 free games a month, not
Mm-hmm.
just whatever ROMs Nintendo decided to dig out of the vault that year for 80.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now that we've covered the games, how about we cover gaming news in general in the last years, like what you've heard, what
Yeah,
happened, and things like that? Because it was a very turbulent year for the gaming industry.
turbulent, but for me at least, like we're kind of ending on an optimistic
Yeah,
note, right?
yeah.
Because over the past year, and especially during the pandemic, I think one thing that's become increasingly prominent within like inter-office discussions between developers or between people working in the trenches on video games and other projects in tech has to deal with um, healthier ways to manage projects, how better to support one another and support like workforces as like entire companies during not just inclement times such as these, but also during those inevitable periods during work on a project when things get really tight or they get really tense. We've seen a massive industry-wide, very vocal backlash against the terribly abusive practices of crunch and coercion that are often used to churn out games well ahead of their time by major AAA studios in the wake of the calamitous failure of Cyberpunk 2077 and the over the course of the past 2 years, right?
Yep.
I think we lost
Oh,
Brady again.
yeah, he was sucking a virtual. Never mind. Welcome
Now
back.
I remember why I don't use my webcam on Discord.
Yeah.
Is
Oh
it the
yeah.
webcam that's crashing it?
Here's what I was gonna say, or was saying. When did you lose me?
In the last 2 years was the last sentence.
Right. Um, we've seen an increasing awareness of and candidness of discussion about the
Mm-hmm.
practices that studios like Rockstar, like Ubisoft subsidiaries, like Activision's clients at Treyarch and Infinity Ward use to rush games out in order to meet projected deadlines. We learned about the atrocity that is BioWare magic and how BioWare execs seem to have no problem with throwing their workforce into the wood chipper every time they need to rush a project out to meet EA's guidelines or deadlines, regardless of how many of them end up suffering as mental health casualties.
Yeah.
Um, and so I think coupled with well, I think a couple things have potentially happened. Whoops, sorry, just nudged my computer there. Um, on the one hand, the pandemic has given people time and really no other choice but to step back and kind of reassess where they're at with their work or with their lives, and this has led
Mm-hmm.
to a lot of people who are in the same professions, in the same fields, talking about how can we do this better, right? And a lot of people who might otherwise not be aware of or all that invested in news surrounding the suffering of very, very hardworking people involved in the creation of projects they love, paying a little bit more attention finally,
Mm-hmm.
because these discourses have been more prominent in the public eye, and people have not had much else to do but consume news, right?
True.
But also, I think, and this is just my personal assessment, right? I could be dead wrong, but I think the extent to which all of us, and by all of us I mean human beings, have had to cope with the logistical, technical, and psychological challenges of switching to largely online work formats has engendered a great deal of long overdue sympathy. So, like, sympathy for and compassion with people who do this all the time in tech and creative fields.
Yeah.
Understanding how incredibly difficult it was, right, for me as a teacher made me think, oh God, what about the people who work like this all the time and have no choice, and for whom
Yeah.
those working environments are so much worse,
Mm.
even in the best of times. So I think the environment was perfectly poised to create a deeper, richer discourse surrounding the problems of crunch and office mismanagement and things like that that were severely harming and continue to harm so many developers, and that the stage was perfectly primed to finally get a broad-based receptive audience outside of those people who were already listening, who were
Yeah.
already speaking up, who were already showing solidarity. But the other thing that I'm extremely hopeful about, though I hate it had to endure such a calamitous prelude, all the events leading up to it, is the outcry surrounding executive indifference to pervasive sexual, personal, and I think in some cases fiscal misconduct at companies like Activision, Blizzard, and I want to say Ubisoft and Take Two as well, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but
Um,
I wouldn't really call it indifference. Indifference means you don't care. They just cared, but cared about covering it up.
well, no, the idea, the thing I took away from it, and to me, this is a different enemy, and one that in many ways is even more egregious, is yeah, if you were probably to ask somebody like Yves Jumeau or Bobby Kotick if they thought what those employees did to the people working under them, the people they were supposed to care for and supposed to support, but instead took advantage of and abused and harmed, ruined in some cases, they would say on the level, probably, with all honesty, like a lot of corrupt lawmakers around here. Yeah, that's wrong. Yeah, that shouldn't happen.
Maybe,
But
but Bobby
the
threatened to
bottom
kill
line,
an employee that was complaining about that, so he
yep.
was complicit.
No, the thing is, they don't care whether it happens or not as long as they make the money. That's the problem. And indifference can lead people to sanction or agree with usually far worse things than just horrible opinions on XYZ, right?
Yeah.
Um, but what I love to see is people finally seem to have had enough. And people finally seem to be acting in concerts large enough to get these companies, and more importantly, the shareholders who control their purse strings, to seriously reconsider the states of affairs at places like Activision Blizzard and Ubisoft.
Mm.
That Bobby Kotick is probably going to be ousted, or in corporate golden parachute lingo, asked kindly to tender his resignation and then retreat to some world-class resort community where he will spend out his days having more money than the three of us combined will ever see.
Yeah.
Um, Not exactly justice, but hey, it will help the people who need it.
Yeah.
That's a really positive sign. It's a positive sign that accountability can exist in this industry, that responsibility and justice, and most importantly, that concern for other people. And I want to emphasize this, not just people working in the same company or people working at the same level as you, just concern for our fellow human beings in every capacity can indeed be guiding principles behind operation even at large AAA game studios. And does that mean these studios are going to be completely bereft of problems or of like abuses of employees for fiscal gain, like continuing crunch? Probably not. But it's a significant step in the right direction,
Mm.
and it sends a message that the completely reckless abuse and destruction of employees, of writing off people who spend their days working, not just very hard, working themselves in excess to create products that we consume for entertainment, is unacceptable. And once it starts affecting the bottom line, that's when you get the shareholders to listen.
Yeah.
So I think it's been a turbulent year, as you said, Seth. It's been a difficult year. There's been a lot of news that's been very hard, right, for me to read or
Mm.
to hear.
Definitely.
But the resulting response from the community, not just surrounding gaming, not just surrounding tech, but anybody in the orbit of these stories, has been so promising, has been so inspiring. And to me, one of the things I looked for, one of the things I've been looking for in the news ever since the pandemic broke out, right, is if you look, it's not just like rank and file employees and it's not just fans, it's oftentimes big name businessmen, it's some lawmakers, it's folks from all walks of life and all different like socioeconomic classes calling this out and
Yeah.
calling for a change for the better, showing that there are ways in which all of us can unite to advocate for a better world for all of us, that it's not just us against them, it's getting rid of bad actors and bad practices so everyone can benefit more in the long term. That's, to me, is really hopeful, and it promises a world where fewer and ideally no employees will have to suffer as so many have, not
Mm.
just at the hands of individual bad actors and their assault, their abuse of coworkers, but also of entrenched company practices in the future.
Yeah.
So I'm hopeful, as usual. I'm very hopeful for the future.
You're way too optimistic.
You have to envision the future you want to create.
Isn't that like what manifesting or something like that? Power of positivity and positive thinking.
I'm envisioning a post-apocalyptic wasteland,
I'm envisioning a lottery victory.
like
Mm.
Fallout, but without all the memory leaks and the crashes.
No, don't you know that like After it all goes down, we're just going to see like people start clipping through the ground all around us.
That's part of the radiation effects, you know? You start clipping everywhere.
Like,
If
you know, you're
Bethesda made the
gonna hear
Matrix.
the sirens going off and like officers running down the street, like, quick, get to the shelters.
Oh god.
No, like imagine if Bethesda made the Matrix. Like there
I
would
was
be a
about
lot
to
more
say,
glitches. There would be a lot more glitches in it.
imagine, like, the apocalypse caused by Skynet, but as designed or programmed by Bethesda.
Instead of launching the nukes, it just deletes itself.
Wow, guys.
Come on, you know it's true.
And then Pete Hines has to come out and give like an equivocal, quavering statement about how, well, really, it was a great plan for world domination, and it was something people in the market were definitely looking for. It maybe wasn't like top tier, but it was certainly an experience that pleased consumers the world over. There's nothing
Wow.
like a Pete Hines PR release.
Definitely.
Um, so anything else y'all would like to touch on today?
Um,
Hmm.
oh god, imagine if CDPR released the apocalypse. Like it was. We're sorry. First of all, we're sorry. We know it was supposed like the world was supposed to end this year, but we promise next year after the holidays, the world's going to shit. We promise.
Maybe CDPR wrote the Mayan calendar, you know, the one that is that is always wrong.
The Mayans release a yellow post on Twitter. We're sorry. We fucked up.
No, like right next to the Mayan calendar, there's a much smaller like rune stone carved out of like some porous yellow rock,
Oh
like
god.
with a message inscribed.
Ever since they fired Nostradamus, their accuracy wasn't the same.
Ever since Xbox picked up Nostradamus.
Wow.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but I think that is it from at least what I wanted to talk about as a end of the year recap. I mean, I
Yeah.
barely noticed that a year has passed, to be honest. Like today I
Same.
realized, oh, it's
Yeah.
2020, it's 20
Almost
days.
2022.
20
Yeah.
days until the end of the year.
Ugh.
And I'm still
Yeah.
processing 2019. That was 3 years ago.
Ugh.
Yeah. Holy shit. Yeah.
Yes.
Ugh.
And I'm like, oh god, I don't even remember what I was doing. Uh, this at this time last year, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh right. Oh, actually, I do remember. I was in isolation.
The same
Right.
thing.
Yeah. I mean,
No,
you
I
were doing
was like
exactly the same
in.
thing as now, only without Rona.
No. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
sort of. I was locked into my room, pretty much just getting food in front of the door, and if I had to go to the toilet, I had to disinfect everything while I was going back, like all the doorknobs, all the light switches, everything.
Man, I still feel like one of these days I'm going to wake up and it's just gonna be like April 2nd or 3rd, 2020, and everything will be fine, you know?
No.
Like I
April
said, you're
Fool.
way too
Haha.
optimistic.
Yeah.
um, so I guess if there's no outstanding issues, let's ask Chad. Anybody in chat? Are there any outstanding questions you have for us? Comments you'd like to submit for the end of the year cast? Anything you want our opinion on?
And in the meantime, you guys can tell me what were your personal accomplishments in 2021, if you have any. Well, minus the whole isolation thing, I think that all of us have been very productive and busy bees. So,
Sure.
Mm, sure, sure.
I
come
wrote a
on.
book.
Yeah, you wrote a book. Your teacher
Yeah.
sucks. You graduated.
Graduating tomorrow.
Yep.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Now you
Don't
can
think,
join us in the world of pain for the
Yes,
rest of our
indeed.
lives.
Yeah. No, you gotta get a. Brady has to get a job. Loser.
Sucker!
I know. I know. I thought they'd just give me a direct pathway into one, but no, maybe in the fall. Oh no, I've got to find something in like 4 weeks. It's the holidays. Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah. Potato
Sucks, but
was also very productive. He managed to contract corona, actually contract corona, so that was productive.
yeah. Uh,
Now we have
yeah.
a man on the inside.
That was among the positive news, right?
Yeah, no, but no,
No.
seriously, we have a man on the inside. Now you can tell us it's not a flu, it's actually worse than a flu.
Oh, like, yeah. I mean, the coworker of my mom's who got it the second time, he actually has his lungs are surprisingly okay, but he has I think the doctor told him like his heart is damaged or something.
Oh,
Yeah, it's no
shit.
joke. Like I'm glad I got vaccinated. Like this
Hmm.
ain't no propaganda. Do what you want, but
And it,
I'm kind of afraid to think. Like I do have a heart condition, and I used to have asthma when I was younger. I mean, technically, I guess I still have it. I just haven't had an attack in years.
right.
I really don't want to fuck around and find out how it would have been if I wasn't vaccinated.
Good news, though, friends. It sounds like COVID boosters, or at least Pfizer's, and I would assume Moderna's as well,
Mm,
are incredibly effective against the Omicron variant,
yeah.
according to early trials. So, I I think we're gonna be obviously not having a happy time over the next few months to a year, but we're gonna be safe. Like the Overanalysts
Yeah.
are going to be safe. And so will you if you get vaccinated fully and top up with a booster vaccine if you're
Yeah.
eligible and your physician recommends it.
Wait, what
Take it
just
in,
happened?
Sean.
Something happened. God damn it,
What
what
What?
happened?
happened? I heard a noise
What
of.
happened?
I don't know, something happened. I heard a noise. I'm
I heard
sorry.
no noise.
Did
Where is
you
my
got a
mod view?
what?
Where is the stuff? I don't
Oh,
know.
see, it would have been good if I had mod view on.
Or me.
I don't really see anything.
God damn
The
it.
Hold on.
Oh,
I'm
yeah, Commander Vicky followed. Hello.
well, thank you very much. Glad to see
hello.
you.
Alright. Well, with that being said, I.
I believe that'll be it, yeah?
Yeah.
Anything y'all want to add? Commander Viki says, haha, heyo.
Hey
Good evening.
yo.
How's it going?
Yeah,
Is there
so.
anything you would like to add in terms of closing thoughts, friends?
Closing thoughts. My closing thoughts are I hope we're gonna get more games next year. Also, like quality wise, more, not just shovelware. We have the entire Nintendo store for that. Um, yeah, I don't know. Like, honestly, these 2 years have taught me to keep my expectations very low. I still get disappointed, in words of our Lord and Savior Dewey from Malcolm in the Middle. But yeah, I don't know. I honestly just want to find that one game that's gonna keep me occupied for a longer period of time because I have attention span of a goldfish.
Elden Ring.
Yeah, I'm hoping
Elden
Elden
Ring.
Ring is gonna be the one. But like for years now, I did not feel that excitement of waiting for a game and that game being awesome and you enjoying it for weeks and weeks. I hoped Cyberpunk was gonna be it, but it disappointed me on day one. So, eh.
Well, I
Eh,
was excited for Psychonauts, and the game was awesome. Except I
Yeah,
finished it in much quicker than weeks and weeks.
like I think
yeah.
Potato, you and I both totaled it within like a weekend, right? Like about 3 days.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Like
because you guys are
the only
cray
thing
cray.
that's yeah, the only thing that took a little longer was just getting all the figments, which was also
Oof.
still
Yeah.
fun until the very last few, which was in the fucking Bob's Bottles level.
Not as bad as collecting all the figments in Psychonauts 1, though.
Oh no, that was terrible. Like although it was much easier once you're completely insane and give up to find a guide online where the figments are because all of them were in a nice little like booklet thingy that you can check where each one of them is, which you
Mm-hmm.
couldn't do for the Psychonauts 2. You'd actually have to go and watch a video and just redo what someone did.
Quite right. Um. So yeah, I'm just holding out for Elden Ring, and I'm really curious to see how it is. I hope the rumors are true, and we've got like over 100 boss battles, because that's not
Oh
only
yeah.
going to be insane, it means that those people on YouTube who make like boss ranking lists are going to lose their minds. They're gonna have like the cork board with all of the little push pins and rubber bands running between them. They're gonna
Yeah.
get like their Luigi cork board out.
Oh, but the dudes that make boss tutorials
Hmm.
are just gonna be ecstatic. Like so
Oh,
many
they're gonna make
videos they
so much
can make.
money. They're
Yeah.
gonna make so much money. And so is FromSoft.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Meh.
um,
I just hope they don't pull a CDPR.
oof, yeah. Imagine if the game releases without wet surface textures.
Without multiplayer. Like that's coming next year, probably, maybe. Who knows?
For whatever reason, like the hollowed guards just like teleported behind me as soon as I entered the castle. And wherever I go, even though this is like a vaguely medieval high magical fantasy game, there's this really obnoxious metal playing.
Yeah. Death metal.
Bell says, "Whoa, I came in and unmuted, and all I heard was wet surface textures." That's all you
Arrgh.
need. That's all you
Yeah.
need.
That's all you need to know.
So, I think we're ready for the outro?
We are ready for the
Mm-hmm.
outro.
Alright then. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us at this live recording of the Overanalysts podcast, presenting our very loosely collected and directed thoughts on 2021 as a year end retrospective. Please, if you were interested in this project or would like to hear us ramble about more things, feel free to join us in our Discord, where all of us are active. At various times throughout the day, we have members from around the world, so there's always like minded and positive video game enthusiasts or potential co op partners for you online. Um, Also, please feel free to follow Seth's Twitch channel right here to be kept appraised of our activities as a network, and our YouTube channel, which you can hit over here.
Yeah.
There you go. I did not even see that. Well done. Um, Click on the YouTube link there, and you will be taken to a page where you can access all back episodes of our podcast, which are mostly available in audio, not video format, as well as Twitch VODs from all three of us, chronicling our various playthroughs, and Overanalyzing Creepypasta, a pseudo regular series where we read through some of the worst, and in recent weeks, really just some of the driest short form horror fiction the internet has to offer. I have something very, very special um, waiting for us, however. A story that, in serious scientific parlance, uses the phrase boat noises repeatedly.
Noise.
And
Noise.
in a
Boat
different
noise.
section, describes wine leaves.
Can't wait.
You know, like leaves of the wine tree.
Yeah. I always wondered
No,
where
the
the
wine
wine
gets
bottles
offended and
grew.
leaves.
I need
um,
to get a wine plant for Christmas so I can get all those wine bottles. Mm.
Get all that alcohol.
Mhm.
So yes, if you're interested in any of those projects, please feel free to follow our YouTube. And really, all three of us would like to thank each and every one of you, whether you've been with us live in Twitch chat or you're catching this after the fact as a recorded video on YouTube. It has meant the world to all of us to build such a wonderful and engaged and like well-connected community. Like us and our regular chatters, we all know one another quite well,
Yep.
and you've experienced this year with us. I personally would like to thank all of you, and especially Martina and Mate, for being so patient as I've been like out of commission for much of the last couple months. and my co-streamers here have really picked up
No,
so much
Seth has
Oh.
really picked up. This is their like 5th day of streaming today.
this week. Yeah,
This week, I mean.
I am simultaneously so sorry and so grateful. You guys are the best.
Eh.
And everyone out there in the audience, you are as well. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you for being a part of our 2021. I know I can say decisively, like, your presence has made our year and our presence within it so much better. And we do appreciate you, one and all, and hope that you'll join us for many more adventures in 2022.
Mm-hmm.
Until next time, I've been Brady, or the Overanalyst on Twitch and associated platforms, joined as always by my good friends Martina, or Seth the Overwitch,
Bye bye.
and Mate, or Comrade Potato.
Bye bye.
Signing out and wishing you and yours a wonderful holiday season and a very happy new year. Take care.